So, somewhere in the middle of this second batch of recordings, I realized that the level bears repeating was fast approaching, and I had a sudden thought in my head. I don't want to 100% this game. I want to go home and rethink my life.
That's a great idea.
So
I'm behind that decision. I endorse it.
And I stopped trying to 100% complete this game. So
if I run for president, that's going to be my term slogan. We will stop the public from trying to complete Crash 4. No American will be doing that under my watch. No.
It bears repeating. I would not make a good president.
If you ever bump a box and it breaks, then you're going to the flogging.
The problem with bears repeating, and I know I'm jumping ahead a couple worlds by saying this, but like, not only is the end of the level the polar bear riding sequence, which is obnoxiously difficult to get all of the boxes in, and that's if you're not trying to do a perfect run, but there's a timeline stage attached to it, where you have to do a harder version of the same thing again.
And then you have the inverted versions of both of those levels.
Yeah, and inverted alternate and inverted standard. So yeah, it's fucking nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got as far as that when I was streaming the game. And I was playing blind, trying to get all the gems. I lost count of how many retries I took at that goddamn level.
Whoa.
Oh, nice one. That's the only time that is going to happen in this entire playthrough.
Yes, it is. The Nitro dodge. I think it's... I hesitate to call it a glitch, but it is a quirk.
I think it's a glitch, yeah.
No, I think it's more of a frame perfect sort of thing.
It's a quirk mostly introduced by the way the time mask interacts with Nitro boxes in this game.
Oh, you just gotta roll.
You don't even get to keep that run. Oh.
Oh, that was okay. That was embarrassing. You had a really cool Nitro moment, and you just went straight headfirst into the next one. That wasn't even impressive.
You know, that Nitro really deserved it. I should probably, just let them have this one.
So, like, because the time slowing lets you jump and bounce off of Nitro crates, normal game flow, normal time flow within the game has to have that frame where you can bounce off the Nitro crate. So sometimes you just...
I never even thought of it like that.
Yeah, sometimes you just get lucky and manage to bounce without time slowing down.
That's a good
You
point.
escaped the explosion before it can go off, and boom.
Who needs a time mask?
I think it will only happen if you hit the bounce button. If you hit and hold the jump button right before you land on the Nitro, though. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if there's a method to it. I just thought it was you just got lucky because the Nitros bounce up in the air and you've landed on top of the Nitro while it was in the middle of a bounce. That's every single time that happened. I watched my footage back, and that seemed to be the common thread.
Yeah, so, like...
Which is the surefire way of getting cucked by Nitro in, like, the earlier games is you jump over and you just happen to be in the middle of a bounce. Or, God forbid, you have the two Nitro boxes stacked on top of each other and they decide to bounce at the same time.
Oh,
which would cause the tight Nitro box to super jump.
Yeah.
Funny how these Nitro boxes can survive, like, bouncing around all over the place, but as soon as you get within a half of a foot of one, it
also,
explodes.
I never understood is, like, why can the Nitro bounce on top of each other and not set the other Nitro off?
That's a very good question.
Expert
question
design,
about
apparently.
these 2D sections. Are they actually 2D or
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
if you press
they
up
are.
or down accidentally, you won't careen
Oh no,
off.
won't go
yeah,
anywhere.
you ain't moving.
Well,
no,
I
you're
mean,
fine.
Yeah.
you can face the background or foreground, but the game locks you into the area.
Yeah, your Z-axis is locked.
But then that would only be a problem if you're being a peasant and using an analog stick.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I never use analog stick for these sections. I always use D-pad.
I completely analog stick the game. I'm just used to it. But
Okay, well, I can... Anyone that's even going to think about going for 100%, I'm not kidding, I D-padded most of my time for all of it. Crash has always been built like that. I don't know why it's easier, it just is. You can just control where you're bouncing way easier.
I think it's just... Oh, I also believe it's just muscle memory from decades of playing the original
I
games
guess.
as well. Because I I used analog stick for a good chunk of my Crash 4 adventure, but I will just instinctively switch to D-pad, and there was no problem.
Yeah,
Damn
it's just that, bouncing on some of these boxes and then landing on other boxes is like using the analog controls is just way too imprecise. Like the movement's precise, but landing where you want to go because of how precise the analog control is you could be a pixel off and not even realize it.
I actually prefer the analog control speed precision. That's just how I roll, though. So
I never jived with the analog control of Crash 2 and Crash 3. Specifically for Crash 2 because originally that game didn't have it.
Yeah, it's 8 directions, so
Yeah.
well, yeah.
So is it kind of like that fake analog control they put
No,
into
no,
some
the
games?
analog.
No, it was added. It was later added in like revisioned Crash 2
Yeah,
releases.
when I recorded Crash 2 for the channel back in the day, I actually made a point to show it off. I remember saying that I actually played a physical copy of the game because the PSN version is, for whatever reason, an older version of the game that doesn't have analog support in it. So, I showed it off like right at the beginning. I made a point to walk around really slow in the loading zone where the music starts and stops. Remember?
Yeah, it was kind of a thing that went over a lot of folks' head back then because the only Crash game that was like sort of paired with DualShock was the third game.
yeah, and that's with all the the vibrations of the jet ski and everything. It was built from the ground up to be used with an analog controller.
That having been
Yeah.
said, the analog control in Crash 2 and Crash 3 is slightly different, I think.
Oh yeah, because Crash 3 you can actually analog control, whereas Crash 2 is much more rigid.
It's not rigid. It's more like the sensitivity of the analog has been tweaked between games. You still have
Okay.
You still have complete 360-degree movement in Crash 2, but the
Do you know, I've
speed
never
is
played a version of that has
weird.
that, so I don't even know.
It's weird. It just depends on what game I'm playing for me. Like, for example, since I grew up playing most of the 2D Sonic games on GameCube with the Sonic Mega Collection, I can't really play 2D Sonic with a D-pad. I usually need to have a control stick just because that's how I'm used to playing the games.
You know, it's funny. I don't mind it with Sonic specifically because I feel because of the physics-based control anyway makes it loose enough where it doesn't need to be that precise.
Yeah, you don't need like immediate speed changes in either direction.
You know what I can't do it with? Metroid.
Oh, well,
'cause
that's
there was
because
a point,
Metroid's a much stiffer game in general.
There was a point where I was all over the Game Boy player on the GameCube, but I could not play Fusion or Zero Mission with the GameCube controller. I would have to get the Game Boy player out.
Yeah.
You'd have to get one of the like original GBAs, which are
I
actually
would get wide model GBA
and
with the connector cable.
Yeah.
To me, to this day, still the best way to play the Game Boy player.
Oh, it is so
'Cause
nice. Like,
GBA wide makes for a really comfortable controller.
it is really great, especially for RPGs too. Not that RPGs need
Oh, yes.
like a D-pad because you're moving through menus and shit. It doesn't really matter which one you use, but it just feels so nice. And the GBA has a lot of good, comfy games that do kind of translate well to playing on a couch or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's right, Brio. You're so insignificant, we don't even need to talk about you.
No.
It's kind of a retread of the original boss fight going on here, just in a wider arena. And
Yeah, it's like a mix. It's a mix of the first boss in Crash 1 and kind of sort of Tiny Tiger in Crash 3 as well.
yeah, I suppose so.
It also, Tiny Tiger, and I guess to be more referential to Embryo. So remember, there was that whole thing in Twin Sanity.
Oh yeah,
where
he was in that.
Yeah, I know. Where he was teamed up with Entropy, strangely enough.
Yeah, he was,
But
yeah.
he transformed into like some sort of giant thing, and he bounced around the arena.
Wasn't that the boss fight that had no
Yeah.
sound effects or something?
No, he takes the potion and then starts like convulsing without making
Didn't
any
Entropy
noises.
just T-pose
No sound
through
effect.
half of
My
it?
favorite thing about that, yeah, is if you leave Entropy alone during his phase, he will just straight up T-pose.
Man.
Oh really?
Yeah, like he does not have a proper ending animation for his attacks, and he will just T-pose.
Oh, poor Twin Sanity. They need to redo that. They just need to
Yeah,
redo
they really
it.
do.
Yeah.
Like people keep asking me on like socials and stuff like, "Oh, what do you think about Wrath of Cortex remake?" Like, "Oh fuck, like what is remaking Wrath of Cortex going to do to the base game? Nothing, but Twin Sanity could benefit like everywhere."
Twin Sanity actually needs to be finished.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to be completed first.
So, aside from stuff like the load times, Wrath of Cortex's problem was just that it was boring level design, right? And that's
Generally speaking, yes.
that's
Yeah.
not something a remake could fix unless if they like completely redo it, and at that point make a new Crash game.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot of fundamental issues with Wrath of Cortex for me specifically. I just didn't like the vehicle levels, and I just didn't like how it aped so much from Crash 3.
It's
Yes.
funny that everyone, whenever they talk about Wrath of Cortex, the vehicle levels get highlighted. But I always thought like it has the same ratio of platforming to vehicles that Crash 3 has. It just doesn't handle it
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
completely different though.
The ratio is not the issue, though. It's the vehicles
Yeah, I
themselves.
Don't
It's
you
just-
love Super Monkey Ball?
Oh, I don't mind
those
the
bits are
rollerball
good.
The ball
levels.
things are actually one of the best parts of the game.
Yeah, the
honestly.
rollerball levels are not. Are
They even
okay.
yeah, they even somehow managed to get it right on the GBA games. I don't know how they did that, but
So so we do love Super Monkey Ball. Wait, why is he a pterodactyl?
Oh god, I remember. Yeah, I forgot
With that
about
might
this.
of yours, Embryo, you could cure cancer, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
The look on Coco's face in this cutscene is just the best thing.
Wait, did he just lay an egg?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that Crash immediately picked up.
Yeah.
Breakfast.
He's caressing the thing. Oh, okay.
Oh, you know the parenting test they have you do in school where you take a sack of flour and then have to take care of it like it's a baby for a week? Crash would be really into it, but also really bad because I'm sure that thing would fall on the ground.
Wow,
7
Excuse
that
me,
sounds
wait,
lame.
What school did you go to? What?
I never heard
A
of the
sack
of flour.
of flour I've never heard. They just gave people like actual baby dolls in my school.
No, I was given an actual.
I've never had that at
You
all.
were given an
ever.
actual baby, John?
No, I was given I was given an actual chick.
Giving an egg.
A chicken egg. Yeah, I was given an egg.
Oh, my school was too cheap.
Man,
for
John, I
that.
can't believe that they gave you babies at your school.
A sack of flour. What the fuck? Well, I guess I'm gonna. Hey guys, I'm gonna bake bread tonight. Pop that oven on.
Hang on.
I'm sorry, you get the classic skin crash now.
I thought
because,
you had that from the
embryo.
beginning. I didn't realize you got it this late. Oh, I guess because it's embryo inverted. Oh, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
So, Embryo pooped
Oh, it
out
is,
an
yeah.
alternate dimension, which is why we have
Yeah,
inverted
basically.
levels.
Yes, more or less.
Cool.
The inverted levels are first and foremost a mirror mode of the regular stage. The only real difference is that there's a graphical effect overlaying the stage, and the hidden gem is in a different place. That said, a couple of the worlds do have some cool inverted level gimmicks. Only a couple of them, though. Oddly enough, one of the coolest ones belongs to World 1, but we're not going to do that just yet. I'm going to quickly fade edit through stage dive here because I want to unlock Coco's classic skin, too.
The inverted boss fights just mean nothing to me.
No,
Like,
they're exactly the same.
Yeah,
There's
they're-
barely any differences.
The only difference is that they're mirrored, but, like, what the fuck does that mean?
But
for
what
this
does that matter though? Yeah, it was like, what does that mean in a boss
Dude,
fight?
I've always wanted to play Engine's boss fight again, but blurry. Thanks, Toys for Bob.
I actually really like this visual filter, but it's just a visual filter. There's no gimmick whatsoever to the
Yeah.
junk.
That's what I mean. Like the inverted effect for bosses means almost nothing.
Well, it doesn't mean anything in terms of this world either. The only thing that I can think of that this filter ever does that kind of throws me off is that occasionally you'll hear electrical crackle in the background, and
And it gets darker, doesn't it?
It kind of, sort of, just startles you, I guess. But that's
It's also weird that this boss is heavy metal themed, but this filter makes me think of like
80s pop.
EDM. So
Raves. Yeah.
well.
Well, what else could you do, though? What else would work?
You could make it look like a heavy metal album cover. Maybe make
That's,
all
that's,
the
from
that's
text,
not
Guitar
a
Hero.
filter at that point. That's like completely adding new shit in everywhere.
you can make all the text look like jaggedy and stuff. I don't know.
I like how instead of actually looking like PlayStation models, they somehow managed to make the classic skins look like goddamn Virtua Fighter characters.
they did that.
They do.
They
They look like they look like if Crash was on N64.
No, the N64 models look better than that.
Anyway,
Crash the Fighters.
the World 1 inverted theme, I'm only going to play through this level as far as inverted goes, just to show what it's like. The World 1 inverted theme is actually pretty cool. Everything is colored strangely, and every time you slide or spin, it creates an echolocation effect. So you kind of have to...
Basically, the sonar filter.
Yeah.
Also, Hidden Gems just...
This must be what Daredevil sees.
It's basically fumbling in the dark without an Aku Aku mask.
That, and you can just spam the spin button in order to keep everything illuminated.
What do you think they should have done if they wanted to keep this idea in the game? Like,
I would say
They should
that-
have not done it.
okay.
under the presupposition that they were going to keep it regardless.
Let's let Lewis start.
I
What do you think,
disagree
Lewis?
that they should have not done it, but I think it should have been its own separate mode rather than something that's tied into the main game's completion. Like, this would have been
I agree with that.
a cool bonus for actually getting full completion. Like, get all of the gems and all the other stuff in the main mode, and then you get this mode as something to mess around with afterward.
Yeah, do you know? Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good idea.
And it's something you can do for a new game situation, where if you lock it in one file, it's something you can choose to do whenever you decide to play the game
like
again.
Luigi in Super Mario Galaxy, only more substantial.
And makes you feel sick.
Hey, fuck you. I like Luigi in Galaxy.
To be fair, John, that was my favorite bonus from completing the year 2020.
2020, yeah.
Let's
you can now play as Luigi.
not kid ourselves. The only reason Luigi in Galaxy 1 was interesting at all is because we hadn't seen Luigi in enough stuff by then.
Speak for yourself,
We
motherfucker.
hadn't seen Luigi in enough stuff at that point. So
That was
having
the
him
first
around,
time he was playable in a 3D Mario game
Yeah.
outside of like new Super Mario.
No,
64
Mario
DS.
64.
I mean, outside of the
but-
novelty of having Luigi finally playable in that essence, I agree there, but Luigi was also just a better character than Mario.
Hey, listen,
In
he
that
got me
game.
into a terrible habit in playing Super Mario 64
Oh,
where I
running-
have to
running
keep
around
on
in
running
circles.
around in circles so I don't slide and fall off platforms.
but like in order to get him, you had to complete the game, and then to fully complete the game, you had to complete it a second time. Whereas in Super Mario Galaxy 2, they did this smart thing and just made him part of the main game.
Although
yeah.
instead you had to
And
do green
also, more
stars, which are
importantly-
infinitely worse. I liked Luigi in Galaxy 1 because it was an option for when you played the game again.
I don't think the green stars were infinitely worse. I just think there were too many of them.
Anyway, what were you going to say, Caddy?
I was just gonna say, more importantly, it doesn't take 80 fucking hours to do it.
Yeah.
That's the next, because that's the thing. Like we can discuss about if they wanted to include this and have a special secret hidden ending bonus and blah blah blah. Yeah, you're right. But then if you're gonna put completion rewards and story specific cutscenes and shit behind a secondary mode of the game anyway, then it doesn't matter because you still got to do all of this shit like 40 hours plus twice. So
But-
it's like,
I think it would be a safe assumption that my suggestion also comes with the caveat of not putting any secret cutscenes at the end of the fun little extra mode that you get for
oh well, then
beating
I agree with
everything.
you. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened with, like, the Mario Galaxy example is very fitting because that's what happened with the Mario Galaxy was you got, like, a tiny cutscene for beating
What of
Luigi.
Luma waving at the camera,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I-
but
who cares?
I think maybe you saw
Uka
Rosalina.
Uka's still alive.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that I always liked how they handled Luigi because I never felt like I needed to play the game again right away. It's like when I want to go back
Yeah,
and play
same.
Galaxy again, I can now do it as Luigi, and it's a slightly different experience.
Yeah.
I would
And then
figure
you
it'd be the same thing here.
the final galaxy at the end, and then it's like, oh, I didn't get this the first time. Great.
And then
Oh, well,
it
that was a
nothing.
Mario Galaxy 2 thing, I think, was the
Grandmaster Galaxy, yeah.
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 That level's fine.
Yeah, because Grand Finale Galaxy was something you can do as both Mario and Luigi.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't think you actually got Grand Finale Galaxy until you beat it as Luigi, though.
No, because you can take up because remember when you finish that galaxy, you a picture was sent to your Wii message board.
Yeah.
And you can do that as both
Oh,
Mario
yeah,
and
you
Luigi.
can
So I
do
would
it as
assume- yeah.
both Mario and Luigi, but you have to beat the game as Luigi first.
I'm pretty sure it was a galaxy available.
Oh, yeah.
It was available as both characters, but only after you beat the game as both characters.
Oh, yeah, you know, it's just the starting area, and you walk in a straight line and get all the 100 coins.
I mean, both characters were
It's a victory
Both
lap,
characters
basically.
were technically on the same save file, you see. So Once you had both characters, all 120 stars, there you go. And you got your final 2 stars as from the grand finale galaxy as both characters.
So I get the idea of locking the inverted levels later in the game, but it just, for me, I feel like I would be like encouraged to, once I unlock them, go back immediately and replay the same half of the game I've done.
Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. Okay.
I really do love that visual of you just finishing that inverted stage and then Coco just leaving that world and then running off as far as possible. Like, fuck this, I'm leaving. I'm going to carry on with the main game.
That having been said, the number of gems you need to unlock the costumes is cumulative between inverted and regular. So,
which I like.
Yes, that's
for
nice.
most of the worlds, you can combine your gem counts to unlock the costumes.
You can indeed, but then you're still doing the same level twice, so it doesn't really fix the problem.
I say most of the worlds because by the time you get to the final one, it does take all 12 gems to get the costumes. So it really only saves you for like the first handful, but for like the first half of the game, it's only 6 gems per world, right? So
why did we do that, boss?
Because you get the biker costume for Crash.
Okay, yeah, that's a worthy reward actually.
Which he is going to be wearing for the rest of this playthrough. You're welcome.
Good shout.
Now he has a cool, edgy 90s costume to go with Coco's.
He's even got a nice bone in between his legs.
Huh.
What?
No, there's a bone where his belt buckle is.
What?
I just imagine Crash walking into where like every station along the way on the bench he just does the Fonzie A.
He would.